Los Angeles, Garment District. It was an amazing, amazing, amazing landscape where it didn't take very much for creative people to get in and start their own business because we had the infrastructure. We had the contractors base. We had immigrant-run contract shops. This country had given opportunity to all these people to be entrepreneurs, whether they were just cutting contractors or sewing contractors, washing contractors or finishing. All services were available, still are, but at that time there was a glut of it. Of course, there were some bad people in there. I want to share a personal experience. This is a little over 50 years ago. I walked into a factory. You walk in and you had a bench. On this bench, there were a lot of people sitting, about 20, 25 people sitting facing that way. And on the other side, there were a lot of rows of sewing machines butted with each other. There were no OSHA, there were no aisle spaces. Actually, people were not even allowed to go to the bathroom. If somebody had to get up, they had to jump over the people to be able to go. Elbow to elbow room, packed like sardines in there. And you know who was supervising them? One person. And the meanest bastard I've ever seen, any one of those people sitting, they screw up, not a second chance, you're out. And people sitting here on the bench, you go in, take that space. You just lost a job. You have two choices now, buddy. Get the hell out of my building or sit in the back of this row to wait for somebody else to screw up because you're number 20. That was United States of America. Today our tummies are full, so we have compliance. Sure, the unions came in, and unions did a wonderful job by forcing these people, treat them as human beings and do it right. And that's when the outsourcing started. If I, as a brand, am using a contractor who is not up to mark with all legal limitations, whether it's overtime or the number of hours or the minimum wage or whatever, the person who will eventually be responsible was the brand. It should have been the responsibility of that so-called entrepreneur. There was an issue, and that issue was resolved by kind of distributing responsibilities and creating some checks and balances by compliance agencies who went and audited the contractors and so on. But we all know that problem never got solved. That problem just created more expense for the auditors to go in and for the brand to charge. Now, a lot of these companies decided to move their business overseas. All kinds of contractors kept shrinking and going away. The good guys had to close up. Those good guys who closed up, they didn't just get rid of sewing machines or sewing machine operators. A lot of senior people lost their jobs. A lot of pattern makers, designers, sample sewers. There were a huge number of people who became unemployed. Why? Because we really didn't understand the problem. The problem is we need to build a workforce which actually produces products. Sewing machine operators. We don't have to make them citizens. We can give them work permits. With the work permit, they can freely walk, but they can freely talk if they're not being paid right. This city is known for its design talent, fast fashion, fast turn, small quantities, new styles, all the things that the entire world in the fashion industry is aspiring for. We invented it in Los Angeles. Hundreds and thousands of these companies did things that the largest retailers sent their scouts to learn how the hell our Californians are doing it. And we killed that industry by forcing these people to go overseas so that we can send our US dollars to China. And then we complain that China has too many dollars now. We gave it to them, for God's sake. 2005, the entire world was struggling because China shows nothing. Talk to any one of those compliant agencies who are going after Sri Lanka or India or Bangladesh or Vietnam or any other country. Are they paying the right wages? Are they doing the right? Which factory allows you in China? Why did we close our eyes? China will let you see what they want you to see. The biggest question between 2005 to 2010, the best of engineers couldn't figure out how could China make something at a price that most of the countries can't even buy the raw material at that price. It's all about shortcuts. We need to get away from that because those things don't last. I know for a fact, and I mean for a fact, the rejection rate in the first 4 years in China factories was 68%, 4-year average. That means every 100 garments I made, I threw away 68 garments because they are not at par. But they needed products to train their workforce. By reducing their price, they managed to do it. And they did it at our expense. We trained them. We gave them the money for that. We have been chasing cheap needle for the last 70 years. That needle is the bloodline of this industry. It's the sewing machine operators. The next revolution is coming from manufacturing. In the last 14 months, the number of factories opening up in America, I have seen 4-fold increase. This could have been 10-fold, 20-fold. And the time is here where there are a lot of people who are trying to become even more productive, but they all lack one resource: sewing machine operators. And I know that even in the city of Los Angeles, the underground people, there are lots of them. Let's bring them out. Let's help a lot of businesses. Let's help our own economy. And maybe we can even start exporting. Stop depending on imports and building other countries.